There was a lot on the line the last time the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series met. Walker Fowler was trying to prove that this was his year to knock off Chris Borich. But the determined champ made it happen when it counted to take another win. Fowler needs revenge today in Indy. Welcome to RacerTV.com's continuing coverage of the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series. Jason Wygant here, and we are at the Limestone GNCC in Springville, Indiana. ATV racing on the docket, as mentioned in our little teaser there at the beginning of the show. Chris Borich attempting to seize control of this championship again. Pro riders getting themselves ready while our amateur and youth riders are wrapping up their racing this morning. Great track conditions out here. Plenty of traction, be it on another vehicle or on the dirt. Wow, that was a good one right there. And Indiana always brings in a nice crowd. That's why we have two events here there. Of course, we all know about the Ironman GNCC later in the year as well. The Borich Bandits are ready to go. Adam McGill and his squad also. And Chris Bitthel's had a really strong season this year on the Precision Suzuki. Let's see what he's capable of. But don't forget Walker Fowler. Man, it looked like he had that one in our last race at the Big Buck. Adam McGill, save your energy for the race, my man. Fowler looked like he had Borich beat at the last race. He made a mistake. Combined that with some bad luck with lap traffic. 2 races to go in North Carolina, and he's got some serious ground to make up in the championship. Yes, Chris Borich is beginning to get away from them again. Let's see if they can stop him today. Boy, they're bumping and banging more than usual in the first turn. Oh, and it's Bithell with the whole shot. Bithell with the whole shot. Are the wrong numbers on that machine? I cannot remember the last time I saw Chris Bithell get a whole shot. Well, he's got some DeRisi Racing and Twin Air money coming his way. First good start I feel like I've seen this year out of McGill also, who's in the hunt. So they are 1-2. Jeff Pickens is next. He's looking good. Then it's Fowler, then Borich. A lot of riders pumped on the conditions today. Perfect conditions. A little bit of dust out here in these open sections, but I don't think it's enough that it's really going to restrict the vision. And on the upside, in the woods, the dirt is perfect. It's dried out just enough so it's not too muddy or rutted. And they'll deal with that little bit of dust in the fields to get terrain like this in the woods. And the leaders have opened up a little gap now on everybody else. Pickens, Fowler, Borich, Neal, and that's Jay Shadron there in yellow. Good to see a couple of the young kids starting to knock on the door, and that's really what we've been waiting for in GNCC racing the last few years. Bithell, McGill, and Borich have been up front in this class for a long time. Fowler joined them about 3 seasons ago, and there were a lot of other Walker Fowler type riders working their way up through the amateur ranks. They are in contention today. Let's give you your XC-Mo slow-mo replay. It's your Rocky Mountain ATV MC footage here, and it's going to show you how the whole shot was won by Bithell. He had to be in shock coming across that line. I'm talking, doesn't matter what brand Bithell has been on. His Can-Am days, now on the Suzuki. Even before that on the old Looney Tune exhaust squad. I think it was on a Honda back then. I just don't remember the guy getting great starts, but he knows what to do with it. Look at him starting to check out, and the little bit of dust that there is going to be a lot harder on everyone else to stay with him here. Pretty rough and choppy in this section. And it does look like it has strung out a little bit here in the dust. He's got the blue headlights on Shadron's ride there, so you can see him coming through. Everything's pretty calm right now. No lap traffic to deal with. I think that's going to be an issue, though, a little bit later in the day. Looks like Fowler wants to make a run at McGill and Bithell. He's broken away from everyone else for the moment. Borich can sense that, and quickly the sixth sense of the champion goes to work. He found some lines, found some speed. He's gotten around the young kids. Oh, nice charge here by Braden Henthorne on the DeRisi Racing Machine. Another one of the young set. The longer that these young kids can keep these veterans in sight, they're going to learn a lot from them. So this is an encouraging sign. Now we've worked our way all the way down to the bottom of the course. You can see it's a bit of a sand wash with some shale rock and good loose soil. Again, the riders really talking big about the conditions of this track, and they like to go racing on it. Now down here in the woods, it is just primo. Borich trying to make a run. We'll see how long everyone can hang. Maybe they'll stay there the whole way. Talking about Neil, there's Henthorne, sandwiched in between them is Shadron. These are riders who all cut their teeth in the GNCC amateur ranks. But boy, these veterans are hard to break. They are just so tough and so fast. And of course, in the case of this rider, Chris Borich, so experienced. Cool section of the track right here. We got a little bit of hill climb action, and look at McGill. Finds a new line all the way off to the right, trying to get Bithell. Cannot make the pass. But now he wants to race. Oh, but now McGill is down and off the machine. You see to the right, Fowler just able to bust through. Waiting on Borich to come through next. Oh, stuck on a vine now is McGill. Finally able to get that thing going. And now we find Borich. So the shark smelling some blood in the water here. Stay with us.
Twins have notoriously been very hard on crankshafts because that big long stroke of those two cylinders just flexes the crankshaft around. So we were seeing bearing issues. Research development people at AMSOIL could show us that it was likely an oil problem. And they were correct. That was the issue. Instead of having to redesign the engine, I just had to do a better quality oil.
Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and by Can-Am. Back to the action. It's the Dunlop Limestone GNCC. It has settled down again. Bithell leading Fowler in second. Thought Adam McGill was going for a pass, but then he hit a bad line. He has recovered, and he's still in third and really hustling to make that ground back up after the crash. And here comes Chris Borich in fourth. Well, we've seen Borich come from this type of position to win races before, but it's certainly not going to be easy. He's got arguably the three other fastest riders in the game right in front of him, and a little bit of a gap to make up. So we'll see if he can run the gauntlet as usual. The one thing we know about Borich, he won't panic in this situation. Confidence that comes with winning 5 straight championships and a record number of race wins. Now, that makes it a lot easier to stay cool under fire. He has to believe the pack is going to come to him. They're not going to let that happen, though. McGill is really aggressive today. And I don't think Borich has made much of a dent in the gap that he had between himself and the third-place rider. And through the tight stuff, it's tightening up. That hard charge by McGill has paid off. He is back within sight of Fowler. Fowler's got Bithell right in front. And again, they have pulled away from Borich. I'm really curious to see how the end of the race goes here for Bithell. He has spent so much energy year after year working his way through traffic. Now, it's a different game mentally to lead, and a lot of riders would rather not lead early. But I'll tell you, he gets to set the pace. That's a lot easier than having to come from outside the top 10 and pick riders off and save himself for the end. Might not be quite so easy for the champ to mow these guys down later. Fowler now looks to be the ride relaxed and in position as he tries to set up Bithell. And McGill has done his job. He's gotten back within sight of these guys, and I think they're just going to tow each other along. They have themselves to key off of. Borich has to do it all by himself. Yeah, it's heating up. I think Fowler wants to go for the number 1 spot. The Yamaha people cheering him on. He's looking for a line. He wants the lead. There's his dad there on the right cheering him. Here comes Borich. And how about that, Danny Fowler cheering Borich on as well. Got a couple of Borich bandits on this hill. It's the same section where McGill tried to pass Bithell a lap ago. Didn't work, but look who's closed the gap. And now it's a 4-rider duel. So I hope the lessons that the kids learned earlier in the day help, because these 4 have tried to break away, and now we've got to fight for it. Borich wants to make some passes. Things are getting good.
Sometimes you come across something so different, you just have to stop and check it out. The Rocky Mountain ATV MC website has everything you need, from our huge selection of tires, ATV and UTV accessories, and OEM parts, to our online chat, customer reviews, and instructional videos. Our extensive inventory means most orders arrive in 3 days or less. Get low prices, quick shipping, and incredible customer service. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and by Can-Am. Pit stop time here at the Dunlop Limestone GNCC. It's a mad rush. Walker Fowler and Chris Bithell duking it out. Chris Borich just rolled by. His pit's all the way at the end. And McGill able to make the pass on Fowler in and out of the pits. And Borich just got out as well, but no one was able to overtake the number 4 of Bithell. So the Precision Maxxis Suzuki rider continues to lead it. McGill backed by RacingPowersports.com, CST Tires, and PirateMX.com. Second, NFAB Ampro Yamaha of Fowler in third. And then it's your defending champion, Borich, on the Maxxis Suzuki. He's right in the hunt now. This is going to be exciting to watch. Next rider through, that is Jared McClure. Nice ride by McClure. We did not see him up there earlier, but he has climbed up to 5th. From about, I guess, about 8th place. They had him listed at the end of lap 1, but I think he was further back at the beginning of that lap. Wow, every time they bring the challenge to Bithell, he has responded today. Just looking at the gap, though, between these riders, I think it's the calm before the storm. They're all waiting to drop the hammer. So while we wait, why not check out your Can-Am 4x4 Pro Class highlights from this morning? This class has been, I'm just going to say it. It's more fun to watch than XC1 this year. These guys have been hammering on each other. Jordan Phillips won the last race there in South Carolina, looking good early. Robert Smith, Brian Buchanan right there. I'm going to call it the dirty half dozen in this class. It's 6 riders generally each weekend just banging off of each other. Kevin Trantham and the Can-Am X team getting out front early. Also want to give a shout out to Cody Collier. He races a different morning class, Schoolboy AB, and he has actually been winning the overalls against these guys on adjusted time on his 450 quad. Now today, a challenge also coming from the Polaris boys, Michael Swift and Rick Checo, keeping Trantham honest, while Jordan Phillips, meanwhile, again, winner of the last race, not going to win this one. He had a DNF and he was out early. So here's Trantham trying to control it. Pressure being applied by Checo. He would finish second on the Colt Cock Whiskey-backed Polaris. Robert Smith on the, yes, Big Nuts Racing Loctite machine finished up in third. We go back to our XC1 Pro Class. Little bit of a change here in the order. Borich has finally picked someone off. He's got Fowler, so he's up to third. And you know he's not done. Once Borich has you in sights, look at that. Now, they've both gotten around McGill. McGill has dropped out of this pack. So Borich up to second. We got to look way, way back now and see, is that still McGill in the number 4 position? You can see Fowler starting to get a little desperate, trying some different lines. Here is McGill. Whoa! And that's the downside of having to really hustle and push the pace. Saw Fowler get a little offline in this corner. Saw McGill almost go over the bars in that ditch. And now things are heating up on the big hill climb, and Chris Bithell, he keeps taking that inside line. This time he gets stuck. The good news is there's nowhere to go for Fowler and Borich, and the fans bail everybody out. It's the opening that McGill might need to get back in this. Oh, not quite. He definitely closed the gap. He's got to be clean all the way up this hill. That's one way to point out a line. Fan using his boot, and McGill gets stuck. It's just frustrating. Everything that could have gone wrong for him today has. That was his opportunity. Probably 4 or 5 seconds lost just getting stuck there could make all the difference. Chris Bithell has been running the point position all day. Fowler and Borich trying to put themselves in position for a last lap charge.
What do you call a machine that combines precision-engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side we build. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and by Can-Am. It's on here, down the stretch, final lap, Dunlop Limestone 100 GNCC. Chris Bithell, Walker Fowler, Chris Borich. It's a fight. Now, normally Borich is setting guys up in the last lap, but I'd say it's normally one rider. Now he's got to set up two. As you see Adam McGill continuing to hustle back here in the number 4 spot. A couple of mistakes made all the difference in his day today. Look at Fowler. He's got some lines picked out. He's trying to work over Bithell, and it did not work out. In fact, he loses a spot to Borich, and he was the meat in the sandwich. That's a lot of pressure to deal with. Which way should he go? He took a risk, and it didn't pay off. It's really cool to get that kind of footage and see exactly how this last lap strategy often breaks in Grand National cross country action. So now it's the Killer Bees, 1-2. I don't think Borich has even been up to the number 2 spot all day long. Look at Fowler. He's getting all sorts of aggressive, trying to get the champ back. And now Borich to the lead. Are you kidding me? Well, we've seen the script time and time again. That's why he's a 5-time champ. Look at Fowler now trying to make moves, and he does on Bithell. Oh, and the number 4 has got to be bummed. Now he's getting desperate. He gets hung up, and it's Fowler going to try to Borich trying to get him back on the last lap. And look at the ground. Bithell has given up. Oh, he's got to be just devastated, leading it the whole way. And then they both get him on the last lap. And there's so many factors here now. It's an endurance contest. It's a strategy game as far as what lines these riders have saved. And I've also got to think it's a game of staying cool under fire. Who is holding back early? Who is able to be relaxed when the heat is on right now? There's so many things that could be making the difference in this race. We know that Chris Borich is the best in the business at it. Look at Fowler. He is all over this track trying to find a way around. And as we said at the top of the show in the intro, last race, pivotal. It wasn't a mud race. We had good conditions. Borich was able to beat Fowler straight up. Fowler needs revenge here. It's not just about points. Obviously, it is about points, but not just about points. It's a mental game. If Borich just keeps on doing this today, there's no reason for these riders to think 2014 is going to be any different than every season since 2009, and he's been winning this championship. You don't need to give Fowler notes like that. He knows. You've got to try to upset the number 1 on the last lap of one of these races. Oh, now a lapped rider between Bithell and the leaders. What a race between these two. You can tell by the intensity how much is on the line. Now bumping tires. This section, here's the hill climb. The race has come down to this already, and a new line for Borich all the way in the left. Oh, and he just gets out in front of Fowler. So he had something picked out on the last lap. You saw his crew there telling him where to go. Let's see what Bithell does. He's going to stick to this same line he's used all day. Is that McGill back there? No, that was a slower rider who is now hung up. Here comes McGill. He's going all the way to the left. That's what Borich did, and we see how difficult that line really was. Powering down now. Fowler's going to have to try to work it through the dust. That's easier said than done. Time running out. You can see the Maxxis banners. You can see the rigs here in the pit area. They're closing in on the finish line. Chris Borich about to do what he does best. He hung back early. He let these guys lead it. But when it counted, he made not one but two passes on the last lap. Wait a minute, Fowler's not done. He's trying to find an opening. Too little, too late. Chris Borich wins again. Unbelievable. 2014 is like a 13, 12, 11, 10, 9 season again. And Fowler, so many strengths in his arsenal, but still not enough to overhaul Borich down the stretch. Good camaraderie between those two there, but you know the number 2 wanted that one in the worst way. And Chris Bithell, what can you say? Rare good start for him. Led a lot of laps. But on the last lap, those guys were able to get him. But heck, you're always happy with a podium finish against the best in the world. So there is Bithell, going to bring his Suzuki up on the podium. Here are your AMSOIL results. McGill 4th, Brian Wolf, nice ride. Come from behind today, puts the GT Thunder Machine up inside the top 5. Neil Henthorn, Merritt Gallagher, and Kevin Yoho round out the top 10. Points. Borich beginning to inch away. Fowler again had that bad race, round 3 in North Carolina, and then 2 straight defeats at Borich, and the champ is starting to get away from them in points again. But look at the floor. Consistency. He's 3rd. Here's the AMSOIL race recap from today here at Indy. Haven't seen McGill or Bithell get good starts this year. They were 1-2 early, and even opened up a little bit of distance. Soon, though, the usual players up front. We had a couple of the young kids there, but after the first couple of laps, Fowler and Borich joined the lead 4-pack. And then in the last lap, this line did not pay off for Fowler. That allows Borich to get by him. And now Borich going after the number 4. He gets the lead. Fowler takes over 2nd. Tried everything he could to get Borich. Couldn't make it happen. The champ wins again. Thanks for watching.